I'm just trying to decide if I'm comfortable even talking about that.
This one's wife. It's only fans then. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. As has been widely reported, Netflix will not be renewing the contract with this one's wife and Harry. Whilst it was rumoured that the contract was worth $100 million when signed 5 years ago, more realistic estimates have been that it was worth somewhere in the region of $10 to $20 million for them. Still, not insubstantial amounts, but easily eaten into when your security costs alone are several $million. Netflix took the wise decision to not renew the contract, and after all, you would arrive at that conclusion as a consequence of the fact that content has not exactly been forthcoming. When it has, it's not really set the world alight, and you're dealing with a particularly difficult individual in this one's wife. But for this one's wife, what was the impact? Well, I explained that in a detailed video yesterday, explaining Netflix deal dead, how does it feel? And if you want to understand precisely what goes through the mind of the narcissist when confronted by the non-renewal of a significant contract, watch that video. It's most informative. But for this one's wife, well, she'll just move on to the next thing, won't she? In the typical way that the narcissist behaves, that is done. Let's move on to the next thing. There's no point dwelling on what has been. That's irrelevant and doesn't serve the needs of the narcissist. Instead, she can always continue with her podcasting with Spotify. Oh, no, she can't, because they terminated the contract earlier after one series of the awful archetypes as a consequence of realizing that it was useless. And, as her and Harry were memorably described, they were a pair of fucking grifters. But no matter, surely Lemonada will continue to... no, something of a problem there as well, as they're no longer going to continue to work with this one's wife after her toe-curling nonsense that she put forward in Confessions of a Female Founder, where she provided the square root of fuck all in relation to business advice. Still, she has that brilliant writing career to fall back on. After all, she certainly set the literary world alight with her Bench of Stench. Oh no, most copies of it were unsold. It only won an award for the artwork, and when she read it herself, it was heavily downvoted on YouTube and ridiculed. Well, that doesn't matter. All of the fashion houses are going to be beating a path to her door to... oh no, they're not. As a consequence of whatever she wears, she looks awful in, because she doesn't listen to advice. She looks at the things that she wears through the distortion of her somatic narcissism. Whatever she happens to wear is either beige, wrinkled, or ill-fitting. Well, perhaps understandable, therefore, that a fashion house wouldn't want to be involved with her. But that's okay, because it's bound to be the case that the cosmetic giants are going to step in and fill the gap. Oh, no, they decided against that as well, didn't they? Dior couldn't run away quick enough, and nobody else has come forward to suggest that they want to be able to supply her with vats of industrial-strength bronzer. Well, not to worry. Perhaps instead she can do some good in the world and go about her charitable and philanthropic work. Problem there. Donations have dried up, haven't they? So that the financial chicanery that she's accused of in relation to Archwell means left with a significant overhead but very little money coming in. Can't really grift out of Archwell either. So what's the point in doing the charitable work? Still, she can get on the old circuit for giving speeches, can't she? After all, she's got so many memorable things that she wants to tell us, so many frigid magnet platitudes that she wishes to share with us by virtue of beige word salad. The bookings will be substantial. No, she only managed one appearance in a hotel in the Midwest, and that was just laughed at, and she hasn't exactly been approached in the realms of, say, Michelle Obama to talk at various stadia. Nobody really wants to listen to what she has to say. Well, that doesn't matter because the A-list are going to look after her, aren't they? They'll all gather round and they'll throw her a bone and they'll get her involved in some of their projects, and that'll have a cumulative effect whereby she'll go through a renaissance. And then you just watch all of the streamers and the content houses. They'll become racing, and all of the cosmetic giants will then say, do you know what? She is going to be the face of L'Oreal or Dior. And the fashion houses will dress her accordingly. No. The A-list don't want to know her either, seeing her as a Janie-come-lately who's just out for herself with being a talent-free zone. Well, we all know that As Ever is going to prove to be the breakthrough, isn't it? The spectacular titan of industry that she is, selling out gifts galore, but also product after product that she can sell, and that's bound to make her a billionaire. She doesn't need Netflix or Spotify or Lemonada. She doesn't need to write a book. She doesn't need to be involved in fashion or cosmetics. As Ever will save her. Oh, no, it's a Potemkin business that doesn't really have anything to sell and spends most of its time not selling anything, and instead just gets publicised with flour sprinkles and wine that has, in the main, been criticised for not tasting particularly good. Yes. And it isn't like anybody's coming along and saying, I'll take that brand off you for hundreds of millions of dollars. Doesn't matter. She's going to go back to the content creation. After all, who is it that she's been cozying up to alongside her Netflix partners? Of course, it's Brian Robbins. We've seen time and time again that this one's wife has been cozying up with Robbins and his wife. They went to Jamaica together. They attended other events, and they've been seen together. She's clearly been batting her eyelashes at Brian, making eyes at him, perhaps giving him a little glimpse of some spicy poontang, saying, this can be all yours, just send a contract my way. That's where she's going to end up, isn't it? Paramount is going to ride to the rescue. Well, according to the desk, a pair of Paramount executives who helped operate the company as part of its co-CEO structure are expected to leave in the next few weeks. Chris McCarthy, a 22-year veteran of Paramount and CBS, who recently served as the lead executive in charge of the company's cable networks, except Nickelodeon, will depart the company immediately following its merger with Skydance Media, which is expected to close in August. Brian Robbins, the president of Nickelodeon and Paramount Pictures, is also slated to leave, according to trade publication reports. George Cheeks, the last of the three co-CEOs and lead executive in charge of CBS, will remain with Paramount once the Skydance merger is completed, though he is expected to serve in a lesser role with the company. Skydance has already settled on former NBC Universal CEO Jeffrey Schell as the new president of Paramount once the merger closes. As co-CEOs, McCarthy, Robbins and Cheeks were tasked with navigating Paramount through turbulent financial and regulatory conditions as the Skydance deal faced delays. In a bid to stabilise the company's bottom line, they carried out multiple rounds of layoffs and organisational restructuring in recent months and agreed to key concessions with President Donald Trump and members of his administration to secure approval for the merger. Oh dear. All of that cozying up in relation to Brian Robbins to secure a deal with Paramount, it's gone to waste because he's leaving. Somewhere the karma gods, if you believe in that kind of thing, are chuckling, as it would appear that for this one's wife, as a consequence of her incompetence, her lack of talent, her lack of charisma, her unpleasant nature, door after door is being slammed in her face. Well, we all know what that'll mean. It's time for OnlyFans. And the Duchess of Sussex will undoubtedly be curating, as only she can, her profile to ensure that she is the breadwinner there. The desperation of this one's wife writ large is a consequence of a litany of failures and how nobody wants to partner with her. That downward spiral I told you about all of those moons ago has gathered pace, and look where she is now, cast adrift, not on memory bliss, but without any contracts, without anything seemingly in the pipeline. Ignore the spin that will come out of Monty Shit Show. People don't want to deal with her. They're proper business people, unlike her. OnlyFans it is. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.